Believe it or not, all of your income comes from the assets that you own. This is true of your job or salary income, this is true of your property or investment income, and this is true of the income in your training, mentorship, or consulting business. Now in this video, I'm going to prove to you that this is the case, but more importantly, I'd like to show you how you can increase your income by growing your asset base. Now, if you're a property investor, it's easy to see that your income comes from your assets. It's quite simple. You own a buy-to-let property, and every month the tenant pays the rent and you get a monthly income. So if you want to increase your monthly income, then you need to buy more houses. Fairly simple equation. Yeah? The question then just comes, how much does growth cost and how long will growth take? Similarly, if you invest in the stock market or something like that, then you know that you buy shares in a company, you get a dividend once a year or once a quarter. So if you want a greater income from your investments, then you just need to buy more shares in the companies that you already buy shares in, or hey, maybe you're going to diversify your portfolio. I'm not going to advise you on what to do there. So it's easy to see that if you want to increase your income, then you need to increase your asset base. So if we just look at the example of property investing, how much does growth cost and how long is it going to take? So for argument's sake, let's just say that a three-bed terraced house that you're going to rent out as a buy-to-let property in your area costs £150,000. And after you pay the mortgage, pay the letting agent, etc., 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 you're left with £200 a month cash flow. Yeah? So if you want to increase your monthly income by £2,000, you know that you need to buy 10 houses. So how much does it cost to buy a house? So the one thing that you know is that the bank will kindly lend you 75% of the value of the property. So you need to find a 25% deposit. So 25% deposit of £150,000 is £36,500. Now, once you take into account the professional fees, a refurb costs, hey, maybe a bit of void while you are paying the mortgage while the refurb's happening and before you get the property let. So let's just say, for argument's sake, for every property, all in, it's going to cost you £45,000. So spend £45,000, get £200 a month increase. So if you want a £2,000 a month increase, you need 10 houses. Simple maths, right? So 10 houses, 45 grand a house, £450,000. That's what growth is going to cost. Now, you know that you don't need all of the money up front and in one time. But if you're going to buy 10 houses quickly, you're going to need most of that money up front, because you've got to wait at least 6 months before you can remortgage to pull out your money out of the house. So that's what growth is going to cost. How long is growth going to take? Now, if you're buying below market value properties, the one thing you know, and of course if you have a full-time job, the one thing you know is that you're not going to buy 10 houses in a month. However much you would like to, it's not quite as simple as walking to an estate agent, yes, let's have a look at your books, I'm happy with this one, this one, this one, and this one, great, can I buy them please? No, because an estate agent wants to sell a house at market value. Actually, an estate agent wants to sell a house at higher than market value, but let's just say the homeowner is willing to accept market value. But you want to buy it below market value. Why? Because you want to recycle your cash. So how do you do that? Well, guess what? It takes a bit of time to find the deals. You already know this. I'm not teaching you anything new. So let's just say, for argument's sake, that you're able to buy one property every month. That's a pretty great achievement if you've also got a full-time job. Yeah? And you buy the property, it takes time to get the deal across the line, plus you then have to do the refurb, you have to fill it with tenants, etc., etc. So let's just say that to buy 10 houses is going to take 12 months. So 10 houses, do all the refurbs, get them filled, 12 months. So you know what growth is going to cost? £450,000. You know how long it's going to take, 12 months or a year, and you know that you're going to get the result that you want, which is a £2,000 a month increase in your income. So hopefully you find that motivating. I mean, you might also find it terrifying because you're like, wow, that's a lot of work, that's a lot of money. But maybe you find it motivating. I personally find that really motivating. Why? Because suddenly you've got a crystal clear plan of exactly what you need to do to achieve your goals. And You already know how to do it. So the question is just go out and do it, and then repeat it, and then repeat it, and repeat it, and repeat it. Yeah? Now, what happens if you're prepared to put in the work? You're motivated by this, you're determined to achieve your goal. You're going to do it no matter what. But there's one small fly in the ointment. You don't have the £450,000. What do you do then? Well, we'll get onto that in a moment. Why? Because first I want to jump onto what do you do in your job income? So, you've got a job, you're doing great. Now, what are the assets that you have that creates your income? Well, the obvious thing is you. You are the asset in your own business that generates income for yourself. So, how do you know that? Well, very simply, you go to work, you get paid. You don't go to work, you don't get paid. Simple, yeah? So how can you increase your assets if you work for somebody else, if you have a salaried job? Well, the simple thing is you skill up. You get more skills, better skills, and then you can either get a promotion or you can ask for a pay rise. Why? Because you're able to give more to the company. You're able to help the company get better results. And ultimately, all companies want to grow. So if you can help them grow, guess what? You can ask for a share in the reward. But how do you skill up? So one way of doing it is to look at traditional education. So that's what I first did on my marketing journey. I joined the Chartered Institute of Marketing and I did all of their courses. Yeah? Or if you're an accountant, my wife's an accountant, she's studying SEMA. Yeah? So these are professional institutions, and if you like, what I class as a traditional route of education that's perfect in a company. And the beauty of companies is that they already know, who the education provider is. They trust the education provider. So when you come back with a piece of paper that says, hey, I'm good at what I do, they respect that. Yeah? And then when you take that piece of paper and combine it with hard-won practical experience in your role and you get the company better results, guess what? Everybody's happy. So it's then much, much easier to say, can I have a pay rise? Can I have a promotion? Hey, maybe they give you the promotion without you asking for it because of the results that you're producing. So what does growth cost? Well, in the case of the Chartered Institute of Marketing, it costs £2,000 per course or per exam level. Yeah? So that's just for the training. Plus you have to pay for the exams. So let's just call it £2,500 all in. Yeah? If you want to buy some extra books on the side, it's slightly more money, but let's just call it £2,500 all in. And how long does it take? A year. So if you're going to do 3 of their courses, then it's £7,500, and it's 3 years of your life. Now, what's the payoff? Well, that can be harder to calculate. It's not quite as simple as the buy-to-let example or the property example. Why? Because you don't necessarily know what impact you're going to have on the company and what pay rise your boss is likely to give you. But another way of calculating it is to say, this is the job that I want. When I've skilled up, I want that pay rise. And if you know what that pay level is, then you can say, right, spend 3 years of my life, become marketing manager, marketing director, whatever it is, and then I hope to earn X, which is £5,000, £10,000, £20,000, more than what I'm earning at the moment. Yeah? So spend £7,500, hey, maybe get a £5,000 or £10,000 pay rise after 3 years of your life. What about in the accounting example? Because guess what? Accounting qualifications cost a bit more money. They cost £3,000 per module. You've got to do 10 modules. I think it's £3,000 or £4,000 per module. You've got to do 10 modules. That's £40,000. And again, it's 3 years of your life. So what's the payoff? Again, you've got to look at what you're going to be earning. Guess what? You're not going to go straight into a financial director position. What are you going to go into, and what are you likely to get paid? So then you can calculate what growth is going to cost, how long it's going to take, and what income you're likely to achieve. Now, with traditional education in a salaried role, you might go, hang on a sec, I spend 10 grand and give up a year of my life, and then I get a 10 grand pay rise. Well, I haven't actually made any extra money. What's the point? Well, of course, the point is that educating yourself, investing in yourself, is the best investment that you could ever make. Now, I did not coined that phrase. It's Warren Buffett that coined that phrase. He said, invest in yourself. It pays you the best return out of any investment he's ever found. Yeah? And as one of the wealthiest men in the world, he's worth listening to when it comes to the subject of investing. But the beauty of education is that when you combine academic knowledge with hard-won practical experience, that's when you really hit pay dirt. Why? Because you're able to make a much, much bigger impact in the business. And ultimately, every business wants to grow. And every business is happy to reward any employee that helps them grow. So if you can combine the knowledge that you've gained through training, plus the experience on the job, to create a better, faster result, then you're going to get paid more money. Now, what if you're prepared to put in the sweat equity? You're prepared to make the time sacrifice. How do you, but you don't have the money. You know, you're doing an accounting qualification, you don't have the £40,000. What are you going to do? Well, we'll get on to who you can ask to pay for that for you in just a moment. But first, I want to talk about what are the assets that you need in a training, mentorship, or consulting business. Now, the first asset that you need is you and your system to get a better result. Yeah? So if you're a consultant, you deliver the result for your clients, and your clients are happy to pay you because you give them a proven and fast way to get a specific result, whether that's a happier, healthier, wealthier life, or maybe a combination of all three. Yeah? Now, if you have a training or mentorship company, you need to take that system and package it into a course. Yeah? So if you like, there's a second asset within your business because you have the system and now you have a product, you know, that you're able to deliver, and you're able to deliver it to one-to-many people. Hey, if it's an online product, you can deliver it across the world. So there's two assets in your expert business. Yeah? But what else do you need? How can you build in security into your business? How can you grow sustainably? Well, to do that, you need to build a community of raving fans. And the simple mantra that I always quote is that the bigger your community, the bigger your impact, and the bigger your income. Now, once you build a community of raving fans that know who you are, how you can help them, why they should trust you, and what makes you different, then you have a very, very secure asset. Yeah? You will always have a secure income. Why? Because all you have to do is give your community an irresistible offer. All you've got to do is make them feel good about buying. So even if they don't buy right now because they don't have the money, they don't have the time, it's not quite right for them, they will buy it later. They will buy in the future. And hey, I know exactly that because I've been that guy. I've been the guy that goes, I really want to work with this person, but I don't have the money right now. A year later, I've got the money, I buy the course, I'm working with this person. Why? Because I know the value of education. Yeah? Now, the key thing is that you need to make your community feel good about buying. You need to sell them, give them the opportunity to work with you further in a way that doesn't burn the relationship. Now, how do you do that? You do that by telling an inspirational personal story, by telling your inspirational personal story. That's how you inspire people to change their lives. That's how you make people want to work with you over anyone else or doing nothing. But how much does growth cost? Oh, sorry. So that's an additional asset. So what have you got? You've got your system. You've got your product or your course, and then you've got a community. But you haven't yet turned expertise into cash. You haven't yet turned your assets into an income. Why? Because you need a bridge between the two. What you need is a proven way to make your community feel good about buying. As I've already said, you need a way that gives them an opportunity to buy. So even if they can't do it right now, they want to do it later. They commit to themselves now that they will work with you later. And they go out and make that happen. They make it a reality for themselves because they already trust you. So how much does growth cost, and how long does growth take? So the way I put it to people all the time is the first thing you've got to do is build a community of raving fans. Yeah? Now, there are two ways of doing that. You can do it for free or you can do it by paid advertising. And or you can do it with a combination of the two. But spend 20 grand today and you can have £1 million business in 2 years' time. Now, I hope you'll agree, the payoff in comparison to property investing or improving your asset base in your salary or a job is much, much greater when it's your own business. Yeah? And it's a proven system. I've done it again and again and again. It's not like I'm trying to reinvent the wheel. It's not like I haven't used this. It's not like I'm trying to promote something that I haven't done already myself. Yeah? So, spend 20 grand, 2 years of your life, have £1 million business. That's pretty cool. I hope you'll find that exciting and motivating. Yeah? But what if you say, hey Roland, I don't have the 20 grand. How can I get started with nothing more than my passion and determination? Well, the answer is you can build a community of raving fans for free with nothing more than sweat equity, passion, determination, and commitment. Is it going to take longer than with paid advertising? Yeah, you better believe it. But you're building your trust in the marketplace. Yeah? And if you become known as the go-to expert, the trusted source, the trusted authority in the marketplace, then you've just built another asset that people can't take away from you. Yeah? Trust is huge. So how do you do all of that? Well, that in itself is a vast topic, and it's one that I would like to help you with. And to help you better, what I've done is I've written a book called Turn Your Expertise into Cash. Now, I would like to give you that ebook. All you've got to do is click the link below this video to download your copy right now. So just click the link below the video, download your copy right now. It actually shows you my 5-step system to turn your expertise into cash. It all comes down to growing assets within your business that are going to give you income and building a secure and stable business. It starts with building a community of raving fans. So download it right now and get started today. So what about if you have a job and you want to increase your skill base and you want to do it with none of your own money? You don't have the money to invest in yourself right now. How do you do it? Well, you can go to your boss and you can say, I would like to do this course. Will you pay for me? And as long as you can explain to him what the course will do for the business, because that's what he's interested in, yeah, then he's likely to say yes. I'm not going to say he's guaranteed to say yes, but he's likely to say yes. And if he doesn't say yes, then guess what? You haven't done a good enough job at selling yourself and the value of the course to the business. So that's how you can get started in your business, your salaried job, and improve your skill set with none of your own money. How can you do it as a property investor? Well, there are tons of people, like you can raise JV finance from people within your network. People who want to invest in property but don't have the time, don't have the commitment, whatever, yeah? And of course, they're only getting 0.5% interest in the bank. And if you're able to give them a much higher percentage, which of course you can, then why wouldn't they want to work with you? Yeah? And what is your job in that situation? Well, of course, you need to find them, you need to earn their trust, and again, you need to allow them to convince themselves why they should work with you over anybody else or doing nothing. How do you do that? By telling a powerful story. So, I've already recorded a previous video on storytelling, but if you would like to, if you'd like a written form, then if you download my ebook, Turn Your Expertise into Cash, that is also in that ebook, because storytelling is the key to this whole model. Why? Because stories inspire people to change their lives. Stories allow you to communicate with someone in an emotional way. Stories allow an emotional and a lasting way. Stories allow the other person to sell themselves and the idea of working with you. That's why stories are so important. Now, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If so, please leave a comment below, because that tells me, one, that you got value out of it, and two, hey, maybe what I should record next. If you know that if this can help someone that you know, then please share it with them. And until next time, carpe diem.